Hey, RPM Trade Vietnam in this bitch. Hopefully everybody's doing well. Uh, Shit, all you can do is live day by day, man, and watch the show. There's of course, the news is doing what I knew that it would do around this time. It's election year, so you know the show under the big top must go on. It's fucking clown world, fucking circus out here with all this bullshit. Uh, Y'all know me. If you rock with me, you know me, man. I got a problem trying to make the connection between where we all were equal human beings, deserving of peace, respect, uh, safety, all that shit. Like we all understood that that's how it's supposed to be, and they tell us this when we were kids, man. What up? Who was that? Rick James? Rick James in this bitch? Let's see. Yeah, Rick James, what up, man? Yeah, man, from the sandbox, man, we've all been told to act a certain way towards each other because it's the best thing to do, and we just lost sight of that, man. And in some strange ways, how is it that a grown-ass man can even accept the idea that rules, statutes, ordinance, codes, all types of shit is being used by heavily armed men to tell every man, regardless of how grown these men think they are, that they will always be subordinate to a system that changes. It's just weird to me, man. It don't sound like it will work. On paper, it sounds like a bad idea. If humanity was truly free, and then somebody tried to present this to us as they did, because I mean, what government control? If humanity's if civilization's time was a 24-hour day, organized government in the way that we know it showed up at like what, 11:40, 11:45 p.m. It showed up super late. Like it's not as dominant on the earth as people would think, because they've done it so well in the past couple hundred years or so, a couple hundred years, you know, since the inception of all of that crazy movement, the acquisitions with the religious shit. There's always been this attempt to sweep across the planet to dominate this shit. Religion works very well to do that, but religion needed a machine to operate under in order to do this well. And the nationalism and the militaries work very well for countries as a whole to help shift this narrative to one side or the next, depending on what role that they play in all of this. But all of these motherfuckers is in cahoots, though. All of the governments of the world are in cahoots, and getting their people to sway in certain directions is just sometimes hard because the planet is huge. I can't even get my kids to clean their room. It's hard to control people, but I know a little bit of persuasion, a whole lot of deception for damn sure, and a little bit of violence. That should be working. It's a recipe for some shit, because they do got to scare you too. None of these motherfuckers, not the religious, not the government bodies of the world, none of them can promise you the things that they say that they want to give you in the world, which is crazy because it's not even theirs to give to you. Like, it's all just so crazy. You have to like just give them the hypothetical to even move on to like step 2 or 3 or 4 with what it is that you're describing when you describe them. It all sounds silly to me right from the start, from almost every angle. It just doesn't sound like a good idea. But they need the violence to also do that, and that should be a red flag to you. Because if motherfuckers were going to make me dependent on them, and the food was clean, and that they always delivered, and that I had a say so, and that we can mitigate the damage from the corruption And the bullshit inside all of these industries, the food industry, the automotive industry, how many times they kill somebody, they figure out a better way to run these cars and shit. And then that leads into the oil shit and the whole military industrial complex and how all of that comes together. But the planned obsolescence of certain products and shit like that, Apple got accused of that before. Like they don't know what the next 2 or 3 iPhones are going to be or what they look like or what they do. They do know. And there's a little sleight of hand in some of that because Apple, I think, has legitimately been sued. I don't know how successful the suit was, but I think they have been sued before and being accused of planned obsolescence. So, and it is exactly what it is that it sounds like. The definition of that. But I don't know, man. It's weird, man. Corporations and shit like that, BlackRock. Everybody been talking about BlackRock lately. I just learned about them in the past like year or so. It doesn't surprise me when people talk about shit like BlackRock and how heavily invested they are in almost everything that helps the world go around. Communication, transportation, a whole bunch of shit, man. Entertainment, Hollywood, sports, shit like that, man. If you see them there, if you see them anywhere, I will grow suspicious of where it is that you find them and how they can use that against you and what the bigger picture is. And if you look at all of this shit, then you see the fear that we have behind the food shit. Like all of the food is fucked up. Like even the so-called healthy foods. I don't know, man. It's weird, man. It's strange and it's alarming because the deception is heavy. The dependency is heavy, so you will grow complacent. A lot of this shit that I know, I'm not gonna front with y'all. I go along not necessarily like complacently, but kind of like, I mean, fuck, what the fuck else you want me? It's not like fuck Hollywood. I like going to the movie theater though. Very rarely do I go anymore. But the whole experience that they fucked it up with all of their bullshit. Because Hollywood could be what it is without the negativity. Then it would be dope. They could be trying to use these music, the music in the movies, especially the kids' movies and shit. They could be using it to stimulate these children and turn them into knowledge-thirsty geniuses. They could try to do that, but they are good at the brainwashing and shit like that and the social development, social engineering, but they always tend to move it in a direction that puts us, that gives us the short end of the stick so that they can benefit off of us by deception and all this other shit. That's the evil part, but all of this shit could be good and it would be nice if it was, but it's just not. It's just not. There's no way in hell they want certain ideas to be carried by certain people, especially if these people could put themselves in a position to see what the fuck is going on and to be armed, which is very important. And some people say, hey, what the fuck you gonna do against the government with an AR-15? A lot, because shit goes bang, and I don't give a fuck how strong their weapons are. And like how many like secret weapons, like the direct energy weapons and shit like that. All that shit is pretty crazy, and you can potentially affect a mass number of people with little effort from these weapons, and that makes them scary and powerful. And it's kind of disappointing that they were able to even develop these things without us knowing or without us being able to stop them. But the ability to stop them lies in if we're willing to see them and then like actually do something about it. All of these people are made of flesh. If shit goes bang, they lay down horizontal with the fucking sunrise like everybody else. Is not even that big of a deal. It's just not that big of a deal. People act like, oh, what are we gonna do? I mean, it's easy. You don't know what to do. Ha! They do it. They do it to you all the time, and it works very well. They put police out here on the front lines to keep us from them, from ever fucking challenging them effectively. You gonna meet police first. You'll never actually address them. Not in no violent revolution. That's why I think a violent revolution that we start is a dumb idea. That'll never fucking work. You can't do that in that way. If there's a way to use some intelligence to come up with some creative problem solving, we can figure out how to do this without fighting them, and it's not even that hard to do. If we can do something to challenge them on all of these things, that would allow law enforcement, military personnel to tap into their hearts and what it is that they really believe that they're supposed to be fighting for. If you can make them see things clearly as well as the average man, it's not going to be us versus them, because the idea of us fighting our own military always sounds dumb to me. That wouldn't even go like that. That wouldn't go like that at all. Some of those guys would actually be with us. actually. And as a matter of fact, I would imagine and I would hope that the diligence and the bravery that you will find in your archetypal good all-American fucking soldier, right? Just imagine this dream of a military soldier fighting with all of the honor, bravery, and prestige that you would imagine that would come along with a decorated military officer in any branch, doing anything with any credentials you could imagine. Just imagine him, right? Imagine him being so honorable in that he will recognize the dragon if it were to reveal itself. If he were to recognize, how could he be all of these positive things if he could recognize government for being our biggest enemy, our own government? Because with all of the gun laws and all the bullshit going on, the controversy and the politics and shit, since we claim to not be letting another country influence our political environment, our political climate here, that's what they say, but that's just untrue because they're all in cahoots, like I said. But if they want us to believe that, then they would have to know that any time that the American people have a very serious political right to hold with anybody in our disappointment in government business, we're only talking about our disappointment in how they handling the shit here at home. I'm not talking about Russia's politics. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. I don't give a fuck. No, I don't even know Russian gun laws. I don't know what they are exactly, but I do know it ain't like us. I know that. I can look into that. But what I do know is other countries like Ecuador, El Salvador, Mexico, Guatemala. There's some countries down there that's making like the top 10 of countries with homicides by firearm, gun deaths and shit, right? We not even top 10. America's not even top 10, so stop playing. But these gun laws in these other countries, though it might be crazy, a bit unfair. Only unfair because the criminals are the only ones that really live the absolute truth. The criminals live the truth. That's why I got to tip my hat to them, even though I'm not going to agree with everything that a criminal does. That wouldn't make no sense. But I do think that some things that they call criminal are not criminal at all. And I think that every man deserves to protect himself with a gun. He just cannot initiate a conflict with it. As soon as you do that, then you are in the wrong. But you're not in the wrong for having the gun, because no criminal deserves to have to fucking beg and plead for us. For a tougher criminal not to shoot him, because the tougher criminal has a gun and the lesser criminal say, hey, I won't own a gun, I won't carry a gun because they told me not to obey that sounds like it should be honorable, but that might get him killed. I think that's crazy. You already let him out. He shouldn't have to lose a fight that he didn't start because somebody with a gun said fuck you, fuck your whole life, and now he's got to face his own death because he listened to y'all tell him not to carry a gun. He could have agreed to just not initiate. If he chooses to initiate, I hope he dies for that. Nobody can just initiate a conflict with a gun and then think that it's going to be okay. Don't that sound good? You let the cops do that though. So that's neither here nor there. What I'm saying is that America is not as bad as what they say that we are when it comes to the gun crimes and shit. 65% of the gun deaths in this country are fucking self-checkouts. People don't like to be here. We should try to figure out why that is. 100% of these mass acts of violence that's going on right now, because there's a lot of them. They popping up all over the news. I got a news break app on my phone, and it be giving me the news and shit. And very often, man, when I see one mass act of somebody firing on strangers in public, every time I see that, then there's another one, and there's another one, and there's another one, and there's another. It keeps going. Once it starts, it's a snowball effect where I get 8, 9, 10 different fucking stories in a short period of time, a few days, and I go, damn, another one, damn, another one, damn, another one. Shit, motherfuckers keep shooting shit. What the fuck? Like, people just keep doing this shit. But what people fail to realize is that seeing that over and over again, the fear that they're trying to induce, the fear reaction that they're trying to induce in society by constantly plastering these things all over so that they can get support for gun control, is making a whole lot of us just go buy another gun, because it makes no sense to me that if you scare me with that type of shit, that I get away from protecting myself, and then I do what? Cry harder to beg a police officer to come do what it was that I could have done. I could have did that shit myself. These fucking guns are not that hard to master. They're not. Trigger discipline, treating every firearm as if it reloaded. Uh, don't point that damn thing at anything that you don't want to destroy. And know what's beyond your target, man. These are basic things, man. Basic shit. Keep your fucking finger off the trigger till you know you trying to shoot that shit on purpose. And then you gotta know where the barrel is to be okay with killing wherever the fuck that barrel is pointed. You have to be okay with that shit being dead after this. You have to be okay with that, and you got to know what's beyond it. I was in a situation where I'm gonna have to tell this story sometimes. I was in a situation I never forget. It was June 6th, 2021, I believe it was, and it was on the corner of 6th Street. So, and it's 6 months from my birthday. So there's a 666 going on and all of this, and I thought that was kind of weird when I noticed that. Long story short, a guy mistook me for being aggressive when I called out to his brother. They was in the middle of a conflict. I didn't really know what was going on. I had just pulled up. I said, "Yo, what's up?" to his brother. He thought I was saying, "Yo, what's up?" like I wanted a problem, but I was saying, "Yo, what's up?" because I hadn't seen him in a while. Me and him cool, and his sister too. I seen his sister standing there too, and he approached my car with a gun in his hand because he thought I was trying to cause a problem with his brother because they was already in the middle of a conflict. It was a bunch of people out here. There was a conflict. I didn't know that. I just pulled up and seen my guy. He's like, "Hey man, what's up?" I ain't seen him in like some years. And then there he was. I didn't realize there was a conflict going on. I thought all these people were just standing around talking, getting along. I didn't know what was going on. It was I don't know what the fuck was really going on. I never really got the whole story. But yeah, he ran up to my car with a gun in his hand, and I had my gun below the window, the edge of the window, because he came up to the passenger door. I had my gun below the window, pointed at him. Apparently, he was so drunk, and it was dark outside. It was late at night. It was dark out, and he didn't even realize that I was pointing the gun at him. He had his gun in the down ready position. I had my gun pointed at him through my door. And yeah, that got scary for a minute. His brother jumped in between to keep anything from happening. But in that situation, I was ready to shoot dude, and I probably could have legally. I didn't mean no harm to him. I was literally saying hello to his brother, and he was aggressive as fuck. Ran up to the car. The look on his face was like, that's what really set me up. Not the fact that he had a gun, but once he got closer to the car and I could see the look in his eyes, he was on the edge. He had blacked out. He was almost looking through me. But he was drunk too. They said he was drunk as fuck, and he had just got out of jail, prison. And I didn't even know my guy had an older brother like this. And then when he got to the car, he kind of looked like my homie, like kind of a lot actually. And I was like, oh shit, I see the resemblance. But he was mad as fuck. He didn't know who I was or what the fuck it was I was doing. That got scary because I could have shot him. And now that I think about it, I completely left it up to him where it was going to go when he had already decided where it was going. And that's potentially dangerous. But these type of situations, then I learned something about myself. First of all, I probably should have shot him. Secondly, I can also say that I'm glad that I didn't because nothing happened. And that makes it okay. Even though I still feel like I made a mistake. He shouldn't have been able to get that close to the car, acting the way he was acting. Totally fucking freaking out. Totally misunderstanding shit. And he was drunk. But nothing happened. I just got lucky. Because if he would have upped that gun, I would have had to be shooting through the door and then through the open window probably. That was a pretty crazy situation there. But I could have shot him, and I probably should have. But me showing that control teaches me something about myself, good and bad. First of all, I know I got fucking hella control. Like the self-control that it took me not to do that shit was dope. Especially that when he stood at my window, once he got there was a whole bunch of people behind him. Some of them were even young kids, underage for sure. There was some of them that were underage for sure. Some young teenagers shouldn't have been out there. I think I might even seen somebody holding a baby. And I don't know if this was a car accident or something. Why nobody was in the car. But there's some cars around, but there's a bunch of people standing outside. But I do know that there was a conflict going on already that he thought that I was mixed up in when I pulled up. Like I was somebody who somebody called to pull up. I don't know if that's what he thought that was. But that shit got crazy for a minute. But I got excellent control, man, because if I would have started firing, all of those people behind him would have also been in my line of fire, and that's not cool. And that's what stopped me for sure. I was like, I can't just start doing this. Something else has to stop this because I can't start shooting. This is gonna end bad, and I don't give a fuck if it is an honest act of self-defense. You are responsible for every round that leave that fucking firearm. So you start busting, whatever that shit hit, that's your fault. So you better hope that whatever you hit should have been hit. Good luck with that. It's a tricky situation with the whole gun thing, and once you buy a gun and you get involved and you care about the gun laws and what it takes for you to carry a firearm, defend yourself with a firearm, and then sleep in your own bed at night. Stay out of prison. Defending yourself shouldn't land you in prison. You have to you have to do the moral thing to do, and these are the moral things. Like, the law tends to get some moral things right only because it makes sense, and I can give it credit for that, but. Nah, man, there's deal breakers. We give them full control, and then when they handle things well or the way that it probably should have been, then we tend to praise them as if that was the only avenue that we could have taken to get to this moral position about any fucking thing at all. About how to take care of the homeless, the whole taxation thing to help build a fucking society. I don't think you need that like that. If we like it so much and we want it to progress, you're not going to have to beg us. You're not going to have to beg people who depend on these fucking on the school system to school and care for their kids while they work, because all of that is included in that. That's what happens. If we care about that, we're not going to sit back and watch it crumble. If our extra money is what funds those kind of things, don't tax it and take it from me. Let me vote with my dollar what it is that I want to support in society and how far that support can go, because then you got middlemen and standing in between the shit with their hand in a cookie jar. You got corruption. You got them taxing all of that type of shit. Like, they totally fuck up the idea of what it is that it's supposed to be with the taxation and how that helps build society. But if we like this shit, you're not gonna have to beg us to do this shit, bro. We're gonna come running with our money, and it'll make the average man more aware, because now he has to pay attention to when things don't work, and he's got to voluntarily put his own money into the pot to make something in society go round. Building the roads, the schools, all of that public shit that y'all think that without government we wouldn't have. Man, without us, the government wouldn't have the money to do that shit. The government actually doesn't produce anything. They just manage shit, and then they mismanage shit. You don't even know where all these fucking bombs came from, what the names of them are, how many they have, what contracts do they have in the future for any of this this military hardware. There's weapons contracts all the time. And these weapon development manufacturers, they don't just make some shit and go boom. I think we've done it. This is the weapon we need, no more. Now they just keep making new ones. They don't get in the business to do this and then go away. They get in the business and then they stay in the business, and then they all tend to know each other too. It's a tight knit circle of the bankers, the military contracts, companies like Halliburton. All these motherfuckers know each other. They're all intertwined. They all fucking share job titles, and then they develop companies under umbrellas to kind of hide from appearing to be monopolies, or even be in cahoots or working together with other companies. Like, they make these fake ass competition, these illusions of competition in the market when it's really all the same people. All type of fucking stupid ass shit, man. I don't know, man. It all just swirls together, man. That's why I seem to be tangential about certain things, because I do see all of the togetherness and how all of this shit just goes together. And we should be standing up enough to recognize if all of the things that they do to come together themselves, they also seem to divide us, how intentional that is and what their end goal is. If you look at the end goal, you'll know that gun rights are very important, and that we should hang on to that for dear life right now too. Buy a gun today if you don't have one, and get involved, because once you buy it, now you got to be responsible for understanding the gun laws where you live, and then take a further look into how gun laws in your state differ from other states. Feel the contradiction. If you feel that there's a contradiction or an obvious admittance that somebody is not in tune with the Constitution, if y'all can't come to an agreement, it's obvious that somebody's wrong there. Period. It's super easy. If all states can't agree on gun rights in and of itself, just the gun rights, then we have to admit that we're not all right while we all fucking tend to disagree on how it's supposed to go. So somebody's wrong. How come we can't just say that out loud, that somebody's wrong? And when we find out who's wrong, we're going to punish them for being in violation of the Constitution too. Nobody does any of that. Nobody even talks like that even a little bit. Colion Noir never says this type of shit. Yeah, calling the cops is just like, I was just in a situation that they got bad enough um, that cop intervention would definitely be on the menu for someone who would depend on that. But I chose to not get the cops involved because it's just gonna make things worse anyway. Fuck the police, bro. They get involved in something, and everyone is a potential suspect at that point. Um, if you call them, they're gonna take a look at you to be like, is there anything that I can get you on? How many times have you heard fucking stories, throughout your life of people calling the cops and then they are the ones to get arrested for something? I've been through that before. Playing this stupid childish game with a feuding neighbor of mine who called the police on me for a noise complaint about my fucking dog coming in the house all excited from coming outside, and he was kind of fucking trampling up the fucking stairs and running around the fucking apartment because he hadn't eaten in a while. I took him for a walk, and then I was gonna feed him, and he couldn't fucking wait to get home. He's just excited. He was an excited dog. Loved to be outside, run around, playing and shit. Had a lot of energy. It was a Rottweiler, big dog too. So he came in the house one day just fucking stomping around into the apartment building, just fucking stomping and playing. He was excited. Outside and back inside, he was fucking excited. Neighbor called for a noise complaint, and that shit was dumb. And then I ended up calling one back because they were down there arguing, fighting. This crazy stupid bitch and her husband down there arguing and fighting. And so I called the police for a noise complaint on them, and I shouldn't have played that petty ass shit. Cause then the cops ended up coming to my door to talk to me about the fucking noise complaint, and then they start acting all fucking stupid and shit. And I shouldn't have did that. I should have never called them that night. That put my life on the path. Actually, I'll tell y'all that story sometime. Oh, fucking stupid, crazy story. Oh shit, man. RPM Che Vietnam and this bitch Wu Bang get a gun, man. Pay attention to all the mass acts of violence that are going around right now. I'm gonna look into some of these stories. I might even highlight some of them, see what's going on with them. But I don't give a fuck who opens fire in public, for what reason, or none of that shit. Even if they say, I listen to Trey and blah, blah, blah. Ain't nobody listening to me gonna actually do that shit. Nobody rocking with me will perform like a mass act of fucking stupid violence like that. So no one's gonna be able to slander or attach my name to no shit like that. Just little stupid shit like that, because they like to derail movements like what I got going on. So nobody that really rock with me, that listen to me, would ever do that. If somebody rock with me, what they're gonna do is they're gonna realize that they've given and received more hugs in a short period of time than maybe they ever have in their life. And hugging somebody and really being like, I hope I hope life treats you well, man. I hope you're going to be okay. Hug your kids, hug your mama, hug your girl. You know, hug your friends, man. Like it's okay for friends that when you greet each other, that you don't just shake hands or wave or say hi. Sometimes a hug is good, man. It's a good feeling. And anybody who does what I do to follow in my steps at all is going to say, man, I've never hugged so many people in such a short period of time in my life. That's a positive response to what it is that I do. And if you follow me, you would end up having the same experience. And I don't know how anybody can hate on that, because it's absolutely true. What it is that I just said, that is a byproduct of doing what it is that I do. And haters can kiss my ass, man, because I don't know how you can hate on that. I've never hugged this many people, period. And it's good, man. It's a good change in my life and for theirs too, especially when I get these hugs while I'm armed to the tooth, man. What does that mean? What does that say about society and how we really see this gun shit and how important it really is? I don't know. Y'all figured out. Y'all figured out. Pay attention, man, and stop being okay with being fooled. They definitely want to fool you, and you have to know that, and then you have to tell them that you're just not okay with being fooled, and if they mean you well, you'll figure that out, and then if they mean you harm, you're also going to figure that out, and then whatever it is that they deserve after that is what you should do to them, because life is life. You're going to die anyway, and if you don't like what it is that they're doing, then why are you letting them? Why are you letting them do it? You can just tell them no, and then you can tell them that you mean it too, and then you can tell them that you're willing to do whatever to stand on business about that no, because it is that important. It's way too critical for you to tell them no and for them to act like they don't hear you, or to try to back up what they got going on with these lies, man, with these mass fucking shootings, and then they act like, oh, America's got a gun problem, man. We got a motherfucking psychological problem. It's a psychological problem that's not even really plaguing everybody. With all the guns that we got, if we had a gun problem, you would know. This place would be fucking crazy. But Ecuador has a gun problem, but they don't got no gun rights. Not on paper, they don't. How that happen? El Salvador has a gun problem. They got a death problem. And they shit don't even be suicide. This should be people doing this shit to other people. Like legit doing shit to other people. That's super duper crazy. Y'all play too much. That's way different than the self-checkout. It's a whole nother issue. And like I always say, if 65% of women that got checked into hospitals were sent there with broken bones because of domestic violence, they wouldn't say, y'all clumsy. They wouldn't call them clumsy. That's stupid. Why would you say that the women are clumsy about broken bones? Because the other 35% of women that come into hospital with broken bones, maybe there's some kind of an accident or something that might have actually been their fault. You can tally that, but you can't pick the small percentage that is actually like that, and then label the 65% as these women just being clumsy, and then think that you're going to reduce the number of women that come into a hospital with broken bones. Say what the problem is. If 65% of them will sit there with broken bones because of domestic violence, y'all gonna say that shit, and then you're gonna address it directly too, because you're gonna know that logically, sensibly, that's the only way you're ever gonna fucking reduce that number, unless you'll do that if you go directly at the actual root of the problem. You can't avoid that and say you want to fix it. I'm not gonna believe you. And they're avoiding the fact that 65% of the gun deaths are fucking self-checkouts. If they're not going to call it that and then address it directly like that, I'm not going to even believe that they want to fix it. They not even sincere when they say they want that shit to stop. All the gun deaths or the self-checkout, they don't believe none of that to be something that they care about. They don't care. Or else they would call it what I call it. Because how I got this information, but they don't got it. They know what I know. They know what it is and what I'm saying that is actually true too. Some of those self-checkouts are veterans. Why? Why they don't want to be here, bro? What the fuck y'all do to them that you make this strong, brave man, braver than the rest of us? They have to do something that's actually kind of crazy to do. To be okay with doing what it is that they do is pretty wild. You have to accept your own death. There's a high level of violence in that. Can you imagine never being in a foreign country before, and then you get there and you have to watch bombs destroy shit. You have to watch gunfire and heavy artillery being fired at you and your friends and shit. Some of your friends fucking die. You have to do horrible shit. You're running for your life, geared the fuck up, heavy as hell, sweating, thirsty, hungry, scared. Running for your life in a foreign fucking country under all of these explosions and combustions and shit. Man, that's crazy, right? And then that do something to people though. And then y'all come back over here and they don't take care of you. They call you crazy, but they don't understand that we can see them very clearly for being the reason why you are this way. So shout out to the vets, man, that had to go over there and do that shit, and you fell for that lie, and then you actually made it back, but you're not quite right. Shout out to you, man. Hold it down, man. And fuck whoever lied to you to get you to fight. They hijacked all your bravery. They took advantage of you. So fuck them for that. When I say fuck the U.S. government and the military, I don't be meaning the servicemen. I think that y'all got lied to. Y'all are the bravest of us. I respect and honor you for what the fuck it is that you are even capable of doing. Man, like that's what the world needs. But then they say, yo, if you feel like that, come fight for the lie. And then you got lied to. That's all. You got lied to, man. And that's a damn shame, because your bravery and your strength should have been used to fight the real enemy, bro. And they lied to you, man. And I feel bad for you for that. That shouldn't have happened like that. And I want to make them pay for that shit. Like, well, people act like I'm crazy when I say this shit. Like, how can you even recognize these things from being absolutely fucking true, that there's this pain and this violence and the deception and the control, and how weird and crazy and violent it all is. And then when I say, fuck them, they should all fucking die, and that's not even impossible, you can fucking check them, fucking separate yourself from them. When they try to fight you out of being fucking totally thrown into a fucking tantrum, after we chin check the fuck out of them without fighting, they gonna get mad, because it's a checkmate. If you can curb what it is that they're doing without fighting, you can take their moral high ground, you're gonna piss them off. And it sounds like you would. Don't it sound like the supreme thing to do? It sounds like the supreme thing to do. Can we lure them into facing the fact that we want to revolt, can we bring them to that conclusion that that's what we're doing without fighting? If we can do that, that's fucking dope, and we should. I tell y'all how that hypothetically how that can be done all the fucking time. Do it. Why won't y'all do this stuff? All you gotta do is just shake their shit up a little bit. Put a screeching halt to the gears of their machine. Don't let their shit go around. Tell them that it won't go around no more. I'm not gonna fuel y'all shit no more. It's all gonna go through a fucking meltdown when we stop all of your gears and cogs and wheels from turning. Do that to them. And then when they get mad, go, fuck you want to do? We don't like y'all. Y'all want to do that shit? Y'all go do that shit without us. We're not doing it. Y'all can fight each other. They talking about a draft. If you voted for Biden, why are you not automatically included in the draft? Or if you vote in November, if your candidate wins in November, if there's even going to be an election, who knows, man? Like, they like to play games, and the predictive programming is strong. We are all anticipating, like watching a movie, what's going to happen next, and there's a few options of what could happen, which way all of this can turn. But if there is an election in November, if you vote and your candidate wins, you should have to fight. And if you're not willing to do all that, then don't vote. I think a lot of people wouldn't vote if that's what it took. A lot of people wouldn't. And then when people voted shit, and there's a war, you should be like, okay, you go. And your leader, too. Who'd you vote for? That nigga won? Tell him he got to go. If JB wins, he's got to fight, too. If you're not in a fighting condition, then you can't be the leader to go point people into battle like that. You have to go, too. And if you're too old to go, you got to send one of your kids or your next of kin. A war-aged male in your family, next of kin, closest to you, by relation, flip a coin, do whatever. Get them in there. Somebody you love has to go die for, and you willing to do that anyway, JB. It ain't like you never put none of your peoples on the chopping block. You fucking fuck all y'all, actually. If your candidate win, you got to fight. Let's do it like that. They should make these world leaders fight it out to the death. They got to fight. Kim Jong-un, you want to fight somebody, anybody? Go fight that man with your hands, goofy. Y'all some weirdos. Why is that not better? That don't sound better? It sound better. It's way less violence, and it gets straight to the point that if you got beef with somebody, you fight them. Sending people to go fight your fucking beasts while you go fucking hide in bunkers and all this other type of shit. That don't even sound like an honorable thing to do. I like the times where who knows how true even the history is, but this idea that Napoleon or any fucking leader got on a fucking horse and got out there in the field, he was out there with them. If that was ever a fucking thing, bring it back. If you're not willing to fight, why you calling for the fight? That don't even seem right. I wouldn't do no shit like that. Fuck, I look like calling for a fight than sending my kids. I won't go. I don't know. It's weird. A lot of people are weird. They don't want to be honest about observing the world and what's going on and what's supposed to happen in these type situations. And I thought that if they violated that oath of office, that they were supposed to go to prison, and then some of them even deserve to be put to death. Crimes against humanity, violating the Geneva Codes, international crimes and shit like that. I thought all of this was supposed to be the security that we supposed to have. That when these people get into these places, there's some checks and balances, there's some consequences and repercussions for their bullshit. Don't you kind of build the trust on knowing that this is kind of built in to the fabric of what it is that they have going on? I thought this is where it all came from. But then when they run afoul against all of that bullshit, nobody actually really does anything. They hold tribunals or whatever the fuck, they try to hold these international courts and shit like that, but nothing ever really comes from it. When have you seen a fucking sweep of any country's politicians all being accused of crimes against humanity, international crimes and shit, and then they all get swept up, and then there's some regime change because all of these motherfuckers got accused of being criminals? That never happens, and they're all criminals too. But you don't see DC being swept like that. I mean, you can't really expect for them to arrest themselves or punish themselves with capital punishment for these crimes. Like, I don't know, man. I think we fell for a deception and we gonna reap that shit, bro. We reaping it right now, and it's only gonna get worse. Stop thinking that government is gonna lead you to the freedom. If they want to lead you to the freedom and give you the freedom, and you want the freedom, it seems like all parties involved have come to the agreement that we're gonna get some freedom, but we don't actually have it. You have to wonder why is that the case? Why the fuck I even gotta explain this to grown ass fucking people? This is why I can't rock with people sometimes, man. Because it's a simple shit. You ain't got to be a conspiracy theorist. Just ask yourself. You want the freedom, right? They want to give you the freedom, right? Okay, do we have the freedom? No. Okay, who can we blame for that? It's going to be them. It's going to be them. It's going to be them. Mostly. The after effect is that they don't have to, because you can challenge them through their legislation, and then with the firearm if need be, because even if it takes violence, we're supposed to overthrow a tyrannical government who has crossed some boundaries, done too much, violate their oath of office and all that shit. If they do that, these are hypotheticals. You just know the answer and you don't like the answer. And I'm talking about the hater who thinks that maybe I've gone too far, or the government official that might be watching my channel and think, man, just say it, Trey. Just say one more thing so we can fucking act like this too. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. You can kiss my dick. I'm only fucking responding to what it is that y'all actually doing and what it is that y'all said y'all was going to abide by if you did that shit. So did you do it? Yes. Are there consequences? Yes. Do you know what the consequences are? I do. Treason has a fucking punishment. That's not my fault. Now, who's guilty of treason? If the shoe fits, then I hope whatever's supposed to happen to you happens to you, and I mean all of you. And I don't know what the fuck is wrong with saying it. And I expect for y'all to eat each other, which is not gonna happen. But it'd be nice, and I'm gonna throw that out there just to get it out in the air that is what is supposed to happen. The fight is supposed to happen within inside your own ranks first. Y'all are going to get commands that you're supposed to constitutionally and naturally stand up for the people when you hear these things, and you're supposed to turn right to your general or the leading officer and say, no, we're not doing that. And I'm the fuck out of here. And I'm taking my guys in this fucking tank with me. I will see you outside. The fuck is you talking about? Like, that's what's supposed to happen. Y'all get these orders and somebody inside, they sees this on the horizon, is supposed to stand up and go, me and the ones that are listening to these fucking bullshit fucking orders, we all stand together when we say we're not doing that, and the jig is up. We'll flip the dinner table over in this bitch. It's up. Fuck is y'all talking about? I would imagine that could potentially happen, and that's the way it should happen. How the fuck is nobody real on the inside watching all this shit happen? You ain't got the balls to stand up, get the fuck out of there, take some people and some equipment with you, and then turn to DC or whoever else to say, who wants to smoke, bro? Nobody's gonna fuck with the freedom. Nobody. We don't give a fuck who you are. Inside the gate, we don't give a fuck. Foreign invader, y'all sneaking in from the fucking south because y'all out here playing these games like no one can see you, but we can see you though, and that's strange to me. There's no more debate about how legitimate it is that they're doing or not doing this fucking sneaky fucking in the dark ass fucking invasion. That is what the fuck they're doing. This is crazy to me. Like, there's no more debate. I'm not questioning that no more. That is what they're doing. And that's crazy because people can see it the way I can see it, but nobody's like fighting mad or willing to do the next thing that we need to do in order to gain control of the situation. All you gotta do is stop buying the gas, don't go to work, don't go to Walmart, nobody shop at Walmart, everybody cancel your Netflix and Hulu and Disney Plus subscriptions all at once. Shut their shit down. That's gonna fuck with them when they see like millions of people cancel their subscriptions in one day. They'll be like, why? How? And then the same day, don't nobody shop at Walmart. They're gonna be like, how? Why? Nobody buy no gas. Buy your gas the day before. Like, why is this so fucking hard, man? Do this. Get your gas up, or don't go nowhere, but do something to satisfy that so that you know you good, so that for one day you can just say, I didn't go into Walmart, I canceled all my fucking TV subscriptions to that bullshit, and I didn't buy no gas or nothing. I didn't go to work or nothing. I didn't do shit today. Just self-quarantine the way they wanted you to in 2020. Do that on your terms. Like this, though. Don't buy nothing, right? Don't do none of that shit. Don't move no money. Call the bank and ask them, how much of your money can you pull? Just ask them. Just tease them and ask them. How about y'all call and tease and ask? I ain't saying do a bank run, but tease them about it. Maybe that's day 2 or 3 of us doing this, and we go, okay, go get my fucking money then. Go do that shit. Go fuck all they shit up, bro. Do it like that. That ain't fighting nobody. And then when they start fighting you about that shit, then fight back. That's the revolution, bro. That's what you do. But you can just ignore them. That shit works. Y'all wild, man. Y'all wild and crazy. If you keep marching like this because of your fucking hypnotic trance and the fucking comfort that you think that you have to thank them for when they fucking the food and the air and the transportation and the communication and the entertainment, they fucking with your kids and these bullshit fucking school systems, man, they doing all of this shit, man. And y'all go, man, it's the birds is chirping, the flowers are blooming, man, just leave this shit alone, man, just let it be. Y'all do that shit, and I think y'all goofy for that. So you're gonna get what you deserve. If you let them keep marching, you know what's gonna happen. You already know too. That's crazy. That's what's real crazy. Y'all know what's gonna happen. You already imagine the future of the world if it keeps going in this direction, and it just looks like hellfire and brimstone. You know it do. That's weird to me. because you know that it does. What do? You just keep on going. Man, stop being a bitch. Buy a gun today. Get familiar with the gun laws where you live at, and then branch out to the rest of the country so you can see how contradicting it is. And then you'll know for sure that we are all very literally watching somebody get the Constitution right while other states are getting it wrong, and nobody's being held accountable for being wrong about that Constitution that you're actually praising. This is how the fucking shit is over. So quick. You can smash the illusion of government just in examining the fucking gun laws and the contradiction between states. And then you go, but nobody's actually standing on business about what you're supposed to do when they violate the Constitution. I go, bingo. Got you. And it's going to be the reason that we neglect that everything begins to fall apart because we have put our energy into thinking that the paper rules when really the nature rules. Nature rules. We're watching this distraction of this conflict about the Constitution when it's already been settled in nature. That I get to pick up whatever the fuck I want to defend my life, and then nobody can tell me nothing unless I initiate the force of violence. If I start it, I'm supposed to die for it too. That's what's supposed to happen. It's simple. It's super simple. But y'all figured out. But y'all figured out. You'll figure out when it's too late. You'll figure it out when you're so scared because a big majority of the world has fallen into either imprisonment or war, terrible war. It's going to take that for you guys to snap out of it, and when you do, you're going to jump on the first life raft that you find when you realize that the ship is sinking and it's on fire. When you know that that's what you're dealing with, you're going to jump on the first life raft, and the life raft is going to be a new world order. They're going to scare you into that and accepting all of that, or else you cannot be a part of this search and rescue that they're going to try to pull after they're the ones to fuck it up. They're going to be the bad guy and the hero to you. That's what I think is going to happen. And I think a lot of y'all can see that too. In a lot of shit. Everything is pointing to that. Good luck to you. Fucking figure your life out.